Hey guys, welcome. So glad you could join me for practice today. You'll want to have for the practice a blanket roll or even a rolled up towel will work well for what we're going to use it for. And then if you have a block or a couple of throw pillows, that'll work well for the end of class. And we're going to start today in embryo pose, which is just child's pose with your knees together. And so you can come wherever's comfortable on your mat. And instead of knees wide, just do inner legs together. And if that's not working for your body for any reason today, right, you can choose a little different variation, just a different way to begin. And let your hands rest back by your feet. Bring your forehead to rest to your mat, or even one of those pillows or blankets if you want a little bit more support there. And then once you get settled in, let's take a few moments to bring your attention to your breath. You can probably even feel here your belly as it starts to fill with breath against your thighs. See if you can also start to notice your breath as it moves out into your side bodies and your back body. And just start to shift that attention to the full sensation of your breath as it moves. And just start to notice how your body feels today. It might be first thing in the morning or the evening. And how our body feels as we get moving or as we wind down the day. We're going to work a real sequential head to toe practice today. And we invite in this element of gratitude, which I think is something that we talk a lot about in yoga. And it's something that we can often do as a practice without letting it really fully land in our bodies, especially when it comes to the gratitude for our own bodies. And by that I mean being able to acknowledge and appreciate all that our bodies can do. And even sometimes those signals the body gives us to pay more attention. Right? Aches, pains, well, not pain, those are big knocks. Right? Aches and soreness or tightness. Those aren't always the things that we're initially grateful for. So just invite you to flip the script a little bit during practice today. Notice the sensation that comes up. Right? We move away from pain as always. But instead of letting the body go to those places that feel a little tighter and worrying there, can you just find gratitude for all that it can do? Give yourself just a few more breaths here, allowing that full transition into your practice today. And then you're going to keep your hands back by your feet. With your inhale, just a gentle roll forward onto the crown of your head. And then exhale, send your hips back towards your heels. Go slowly. Inhale, roll forward. Really press that into your shins and the tops of your feet so there's a lot of support, not just weight coming down onto head and neck. Exhale, roll back. Good. Inhale again, slide forward strong through your legs for support. And then exhale, hips back to heels. Okay, one more time, slide forward. And this time, pause. You can take your hands to your heels, to the backs of your calves, whatever works well there. And then again, really press down strongly into your legs. So you're just resting gently, not a lot of weight onto the top of your head. Full breath in. And then exhale, roll your hips back. Come all the way up to a seat. And so literally starting with the top of our head. Right, so you'll sit here in Vajrasana. And if you want a little bit more support, you could slide that blanket or towel roll or even pillow behind your knees. Start with your hands to your thighs and keep pressing down into the tops of your shins and your feet. Lengthen up through the top of your head. And with your next exhale, then allow your chin to drop down towards your chest, but keep your shoulders drawing back. Inhale, roll right ear towards right shoulder. And then exhale, come back to center. Inhale, left ear, left shoulder. And exhale, back to center. So just start to move side to side with your breath. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, back to center. Maintain a tall seat and keep going side to side. And allow the shoulders to drop down and back so that we begin to create some space, some length along the neck. And then next time you come over to your left, stay, right? Couple options. You can just hang out right here. This might feel like a good place to be. You can take your left hand to the right side of your head, like by your ear, your temple. It might just give you a hair more stretch. Be gentle. We don't want to pull or tug at it. Just a little extra weight. You can even take some little tiny movements with head and neck until you find like, ooh, yeah, I just found it. There's a good spot. And then soften your breath into that place. I think it's pretty easy when our body's talking to us to go into that like, oh, why is it stiff? Why is it sore? Why is it tight? Instead, maybe just look at it as a way for your body to be asking for a little more attention, a little love, and be grateful that your body can tell you that. Good. Help your head back to center. And then go ahead, release, chin to chest. Come to the second side, right ear, right shoulder. And then you can do the same, either stay right here or take right hand to left ear, left temple. And find those little movements till you land on the sweet spot. And then take a few breaths there. I think most of us have some body parts that we tend to not be as kind about, right? That either we don't like the way they function or the way that they look. And we know that the way that we talk to our body can be so powerful. And sometimes this feels a little funny at first, but can really help shift our mindset around it. I know I have some like that. Help your head back to center. Take a breath in. And then exhale again, chin towards chest. And just take one more roll, head side to side. Feel that little bit of space you may have created there. Good. And then go ahead, slide forward, plant your hands, step back, down dog. And then get really strong through your hands, so root hands down and forward as you stretch hips up and back. And then let your head get heavy. It might even shake out a little bit, yes and no. Come back to center, and then just walk forward, feet to your hands, come front of your mat. Start with your feet about hip width apart here, right? So you can think 2 fists width in between. If it helps to bend your knees a little bit or a lot right now, do that. It gets strong through your legs so it feels like there's a lot of support. And then you're going to take your fingers, interlace them behind your neck so that the palms and the heels of your hands wrap around your neck. My elbows are pointing straight back to knees. Yours might be a little bit wider. And then just let the weight of your arms start to create some traction along your neck. Sometimes just the weight of our head does that pretty well. You can even, if it feels good, just use the heels of your hands to massage out your neck a little bit. These things we can do for some self-love. Good. And then release. Bring your hands to your hips, root through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. With your exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Good. Strong legs, stand tall. And then just notice where your shoulders are here. Do they want to creep up Can you allow them to drop down and then draw back? So we keep all of that length and space in your neck. Next, inhale, reach both arms up. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. And then take a full breath in, reach up. Exhale, side bend over to your right. And really stamp down through your left foot. Let your left hip sway way out to the side. You really get the side body length there. And then keep your upper arms strong. Come back up to center. Inhale, switch out the clasp. Take a big breath up and then over to exhale. Root down through your right foot. Let your right hip sway out to the side. Inhale, come back up to center. And then release. Exhale, sweep your right arm back, left arm forward to twist. All right, keep that strong foundation and the length through your spine. And as you reach back with your right arm, resist a little, draw your left hip, left ribs back. And just start to find a steady breath, what feels full and rhythmic for your practice. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, twist, left arm back, right arm forward. Turn your thumbs up. Spread out wide through your arms. And resist your right ribs, right hip back a little bit without jamming the low back, just to deepen the twist a hair. Inhale, come back to center, reach both arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms. And so elbows in line with shoulders. And then start to find some lift through your low belly. Use that to help support the back bend. Feel shoulders drop away from your ears and then squeeze in towards your spine. Maybe from the center of your chest, you lift up. Just depending on amount of back bend. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward. Stay strong through your legs, lift halfway, take a breath in. And then even here, really stretch out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Okay, sweep up, inhale. Take a hold of left wrist, stretch up. Exhale, side bend to your right. Same actions, just one breath per movement. Inhale, come back to center, switch the clasp, reach up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, come back through center, release your hands. Exhale, twist right arm back, left arm forward. Back through center, inhale, sweep up. And then exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Both arms up, inhale. Cactus your arms, root your feet, lift your heart. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge, fold forward. Lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Take a full breath here in plank. And then as you exhale, lower all the way down. And the tops of your feet down, just one cobra pose. Inhale, lift up, head, chest, shoulders. Exhale, lower down, stretch back, down dog. Take a full breath in. And as you exhale, bring your knees down to your mat, tabletop. Okay, inhale, arch your back, look forward, cow pose. Exhale, round, and draw your chin to your chest, belly up and in, cat pose. And then stay here in cat pose, thread your left arm behind your right, thread the needle. And as you come to rest on the side of your head, you can keep your right hand there. You can walk it forward a little bit. Or you can even wrap it around and take the half bind. And press down through the back of your left hand, left arm. And then even press through the side of your head. The neck gets a little more engaged. And start to work a little more into the shoulders here. Although we know it's often hard to separate. What happens in the neck is often reflected in the shoulders and vice versa. And just work them in sequence, but see also that relationship between the two. Good. Inhale, unwind, come back to center. Stay for your exhale. With your inhale, cow pose, arch your back, look forward. Exhale, cat, round up and in. And then do the same. Stay here with this nice space with the back rounded. Use that to thread your right hand through and come to rest on the side of your head. Good. Left hand stays right there for support. Walk forward or wrap around. What feels like the best choice for this side? And you press into the back of your right hand and arm. And just notice where you feel the sensation. Can you meet that not only with breath, but a little bit of compassion and gratitude for all that your body does, right? These body parts within the day. Next, inhale, come back to center. This time with your exhale, keep your hips high, walk your hands forward, heart melting pose. You are also welcome to bring some support under your forehead if the mat feels really far away today. And so you can do forehead to support, forehead to mat. If you have a lot of range of motion here, you're welcome to do chin to the mat, right? That's a pretty big one for most of us for the neck. So feel what's good for you. And keep some engagement here as you stay lifted through your lower belly for support. And then press actively down into your fingertips. And as you keep that, roll the eyes of your elbows up and see if just that little transition can get a little more space in the shoulders. Go ahead, walk your hands back, root through your hands, stretch back downward facing dog. And in down dog, do that same little adjustment that you just did in heart melting. So root through all your fingertips. Keep that especially through your thumb and index finger and roll the eyes of your elbows up. And just notice what little adjustments in the shoulders, what difference that makes. Okay, keep that. Inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, step your foot all the way through, crescent lunge. Inhale, bring both arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Find a stance that feels stable and supportive. And with your next inhale, get long up through the top of your head, create space. Exhale, twist, bring your left elbow across to the right. A nice variation here is you could always bring your back knee down for a little bit more support. Some days we want to give ourselves that. If your back heel is lifted, press the heel back and lengthen the top of your head forward. And then rotate your chest towards your thumbs. Find room and space for your breath. And start to get now into that midsection to create rotation and space with the twist and a little strength as well. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands down to your mat, step back, high plank, and stay. There's the strength part. Right again, knees up or knees down. Root down through your hands. Tone through your lower belly and hug your outer waistline in. Right? So much of what we do, we move from our center, we hope, from our core. Right? If it's an area that you don't always give gratitude to, different talk and language around that, what would it feel like to shift it? And lift your hips up and back down dog. Right, and I think there's a fine line. We don't want to be Pollyanna about it. There's an ignoring and sometimes just shifting the conversation that we have with our body. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step through. And both arms up, inhale. Hands to heart, exhale. Take a full breath in here, get long up through your spine. And then exhale, twist, right elbow across to your left. Same thing, right? Back knee down if that feels good for a little bit more support. But get long and then twist. Roll your left shoulder back and just feel that range of motion through the midsection in the twist. Good. Inhale, come back to center, follow your breath. Exhale, hands down, and then one more time, step back, plank. Root through your hands. Right, so you're really actively pressing down from shoulders to hands, and at the same time, lifting through the lower belly. And feel the hug of your outer waistline in. So there's a full support all the way around your torso. One more breath in. And then exhale, up and back, down dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, lift to your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Walk, step, or hop front of your mat. Good. Lift halfway, long spine, anchor your feet. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Take a round of breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back, chair pose, Tkatasana. Bring your hands together at your heart. And just take a moment to settle into the pose. Find the stability of both feet. Find some length and space through your spine. So, right, each body part building on the space or the stability that we've created, or a little bit of both. And then take a full breath in here. Exhale, twist. Left elbow across to your right. Long spine. Rotate your torso towards your thumbs. And then shift your weight onto your right foot. Lift your left heel. Take a breath in. And then with your exhale, take a big step back with your left foot. So you're back in your twisted lunge. Foot didn't land quite right. Just wiggle it back. Keep a strength of the legs hugging into midline. Let that bring you back to center. And as you press through the ball of your back foot, twist, rotate to your right. Good. Then with your next inhale, big step forward, back to revolve chair. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, unwind your twist. Exhale, fold forward, take a breath. Right. When things go or don't go as we want them to, right? Maybe the transition was a little wobbly or you tipped over. Right. Can we laugh? Can we be grateful for what we're trying to do? And bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart. Okay, chair pose again. It's going to come the opposite direction. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back. Bring hands together at your heart. And just let yourself arrive each stage of the pose. Notice what's working, what feels strong, what's helping to stabilize you in the pose. And then with your next exhale, find your twist. Right elbow over to your left. Strong legs. Long spine, twist. And stand into your left foot, lift your right heel. Take a breath in. Right, use your exhale breath, go slowly. Step your right foot all the way back. Right, adjust as needed. Hug back into center, and then twist. Right, I often like to come back to, what does this body part do for me? What are all the great things it's capable of? Okay, next inhale, big step forward, back to chair. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, come back, unwind your twist. Exhale, hinge, fold forward. Good. Lift halfway, inhale. Fold, exhale. And then plant your hands, step back to plank. Take a breath in plank. Exhale, come all the way down to your belly. And then just reach down through the tops of your feet. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Take a little bend in your elbows. And then lengthen your tailbone back to your heels. Well, towards your heels. With your next inhale, float up through head, chest, shoulders. And then just notice again where shoulders are here. Can you draw them back in towards your spine? And then reach your knuckles back. Right, keep that little bend in your elbows because at the same time you can traction your elbows away from one another. Good. Take one more full breath in. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Turn your head to one side. Take a breath. Okay, bring your hands back behind you again. Interlace the opposite clasp. Little bend in your elbows. Work the heels of your hands towards one another. Full breath out. Inhale, lift up through head, chest, arms. And then this time you can stay just like this or float your legs up as well. Little bend in your elbows. All right, once you do that, you can work your heels or the heels of your hands together and traction your elbows apart. Feel that strength along the back line of your body. And keep the back of your neck long so you're not crunching up that space. Full breath in. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Release. Turn your head to the other side. Take a breath. Then you're going to roll up onto your left side. And you have a couple of options here just depending on how the wrist feels. Well, how anything feels, but sometimes the variation is for the wrist. You can come up onto your forearm, or you can come all the way up onto your palm. If it feels better to bend your knees, do that. But what you do want to look for here is that there's a nice angle between your shoulder and your hand, and that it's not stacked right under the shoulder like we so often do. And then just let your left side body start to settle. Let your ribs soften down towards the ground. You can close eyes. And just take a few fuller breaths here into that space along the ribs and the side body. It's going to be such a great area to get into and start to unwind the connective tissue, the fascia there. Just a couple more breaths. And then come all the way back to your belly. So you can come back to that first variation that we just did with your hands interlaced behind your back. Or this time, take your hands, interlace them behind your head. This one's often just a little bit more strengthening for the spine, but do what works best for you. Begin with taps of your feet down, and then inhale, lift up your head, chest, arms. All right, if you've got hands to head, press your head back into your hands. And then lift your elbows up a little bit. They tend to want to go with gravity. And find the support through your low belly. Super strong through your spine. Think of all that does for you in the day, what we can offer gratitude for. Good. Lower down. Turn your head to one side. Take a breath. Just one breath. And then bring your hands back again behind your head or behind your low back. Inhale, lift up, head, chest, arms. And then same this time, maybe legs as well. Press your head back. Lift your elbows. Feel if that draws your shoulder blades in. And find that support all along the back line of the body. Good. Exhale, lower down. This time, press back, child's pose. Big toes together, knees wide. Take a couple of breaths. Sometimes I think the belly down back bends, they don't get as much glamour as like bigger back bends, like wheel pose. but so effective for strengthening the spine. All those muscles that run along there. And then press into your hands, stretch up and back down dog. Inhale, lift to your toes. Bend your knees, exhale, look forward, and walk, step, or hop, front of your mat. Halfway lift, inhale, root your feet, long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. All right, if you have blocks, you like them for standing splits or standing balance poses, let's have them up at the front of your mat. Even if you have one, that's great. Okay, with hands to heart, start with your feet together. Find a focus point for your eyes. Take a full breath in, and then exhale, bend your knees, sit back. Okay, this time though, transfer the weight to your left foot, cross right ankle to left knee, sit back, Dalavasana, figure 4. Flex your right foot, and then keep your hips level. By that meaning, just be aware that the right knee and hip aren't kind of washing off to the side. And sit low, and even as you do that, lift your chest. With a steady gaze, match that with a steady breath. Okay, we're going to start to get a little bit more into the lower body now, so might start to feel some heat building in the hip, and that's what this next little sequence is designed for. Okay, stand all the way up. Inhale, bring your right knee up. And then exhale, press your right foot back, hinge forward, standing splits. Okay, flex your right foot. I think this is a little bit more of a standing L pose, because I'm going to ask for this variation, you keep the top of your head extending forward. Roll your inner right thigh up to level your hips. And then as you press your right heel back, stretch the top of your head forward. From here, bring your right hand to your hip. Squeeze your outer hips in. And then roll your right hip open. Half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. You can keep hand to hip or reach your top arm up. Flex your right foot. And then really root down into your left foot, expand, open up. If things wobble a little bit, let's bring it back. Take a full breath in. And with your exhale, bend your left knee, step all the way back like you're coming warrior 2. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach forward, come down, triangle pose, Trikonasana. This might be another great place for a block or a little support. Squeeze your heels in, root down into your feet, expand. And sometimes we notice the differences in our body day to day, most in the poses that we do all the time. Where is it talking to you? Maybe it's just asking for a little extra attention, a little time, a little breath, a little gratitude that it can give us those signals. Sometimes we don't pay attention, it just starts to talk a little louder. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Take a big step forward. Lift halfway, inhale. Fold, exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Good, you can keep your blocks there if you have them. And you can stay there. I'm just going to turn so you see the other direction. Feet together, find your focus point. Inhale. And then exhale, sit back. And so just like you're coming into chair pose, send the weight to your heels. And then shift weight to your right foot, cross left ankle, right knee. Hands to heart or reach your arms up and see what feels better for this side. Flex through your left foot. And just notice where your left knee is. And can you settle the weight down just a hair more? Grateful for the strength to hold here, even with the sensation that we might feel. And stand all the way up. Inhale, bring your knee up. Exhale, hinge, fold forward. Standing split, standing L pose. I've even heard this called grounded airplane. Okay, flex your left foot. Roll your left inner thigh up. And then from your back heel, lengthen out through the crown of your head. And feel all that space we've created. Bring your left hand to your hip. Stay rooted through your right foot. Inhale, open your right hip. Ardha Chandrasana. Hand to hip or reach your top arm up. Feel that connection under your right foot. And then from there, can you find a little expansion? Open out wide. When balance poses get a little challenging, if they do, what's the self-talk that comes up? What do we go to when things go awry? It's not always gratitude first, but can we shift that? And with your next exhale, bend your front knee, step all the way back. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach forward, hinge down, triangle pose. Good. Root your feet, expand. Find your breath. And I think this really can be a fine line. We're not pretending, ignoring that all is wonderful. We're just starting to embody this practice that we can be really good at externalizing. We're grateful for the things and the stuff around us or the people around us. But do we bring that same awareness, that same practice to ourselves, to our own body? Good. Inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, circle your hands down to your mat. Take a big step forward. This time, take your feet hip width apart and a big bend into your knees. Take your peace sign fingers, index and middle fingers, wrap them around your big toes. And you might stay here with a really nice big bend in your knees. You might start to bring your legs a little bit straighter. Wherever you are, root down into your feet. Give your inner legs a little squeeze towards center. And then roll your inner thighs back and wide. Notice where your shoulders are here. They tend to go with gravity and just slump up towards the ears. What would it feel like to draw the bottom tips of your shoulder blades towards your waist as you get really heavy through your head? And just notice sensation here. Hamstrings aren't always one that we have a lot of good talk for. And think of all they do. Release your feet. Bring hands to hips. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. And then go ahead, take a big step wide with your right foot. Come to face towards the long end of your mat. And then turn your toes out, heels in. Bend your knees, sink down to squat in goddess. Okay, and then just take a moment to find the alignment here so that your knees are right over your ankles. That might adjust the length of your stance or the width of your stance, I decide. And then settle low. Squeeze your heels in. Right, and then see if you can lengthen along the inseam of the leg. Right? It's not going to move a lot, just that energetic lengthening as you squeeze the outer knees towards the outer hip. Right, so it's strong on the outer line, and we're starting to create that space through the inner line of the leg. Soften through your face. Settle through your hips. And take a couple full breaths. Just feeling what comes up and noticing the reaction to it. And press through your heels. Inhale, stand all the way up. Turn your feet forward. Exhale, fold. And lift halfway, take a breath in. Exhale, fold, walk your hands forward. And then one more time, take a big step forward to the front of your mat. Bring hands to hips. Root through your feet. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands together at your heart. Okay, we're gonna do one more balance. So bring feet together. Find your focus point. Stand into your left foot and then right foot up. Dancer pose, not Tirajasana. You can start with left hand to heart. And take a moment to root into your left foot and draw your inner legs towards one another. Right, just so being mindful that the right leg's not kind of splaying way out to the side. Tone through belly. And start to feel into that sensation on the front of the right hip and right quad. And as you draw your heel in, press your foot back into your hand. And you can stay just like this or start to lift your leg up behind you. Maybe a few inches, it might be more parallel. Let's find the right place for you. Keep hand to heart or reach your arm out in front. Steady gaze point. Smooth breath. Good. Unwind. Both feet down, hands to heart. Switch sides, stand into your right. Bend your left, reach back. Right hand to heart. Root through your right foot. And hug your legs to center. Press hand and foot into one another. And then same, stay here, or start to lift the leg. As you do that, zip through the belly for support. And just feel the sensation as the thigh kicks back. Right, keep pressing foot into hand as you lift your chest. And maybe the hand comes forward, maybe. Good. Unwind, both feet down, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep arms up. Exhale, hinge, fold forward. Halfway lift, take a big breath in. Exhale, fold, hands to your mat. Step back, down dog. If you're craving the vinyasas, take them. We're just working a little bit more sequentially today. Okay, from down dog, inhale, right leg up. Exhale, step through. And then bring your left knee down to your mat. Bring your hands to your front thigh. And then back the hips out a little bit. Take your right foot out just a hair wider. A stable stance will be really nice here. And if the left knee doesn't like that pressure down on the mat, you can fold your mat in half or even use your blanket or your towel for a little support there. Okay, from here, bend your left leg. Make a big circle around with your hand, reach back. And if hand and foot don't connect, just move it in that direction. Okay, this is where you might start to notice the balance. And that wider stance might be helpful. Squeeze your legs in towards one another. Draw your heel in towards your hip. And at the same time, press your foot back into your hand. And just like dancer pose, you can keep your right hand to your thigh or reach your arm forward. And then you might keep the hips settled back a little bit more or let them start to slide forward where you start to notice a little more sensation through the hip and the thigh. You can look at that and think, or feel that and think, ooh, all that my legs have done, all the places they've carried me, taken me, all the activity that I can do. And unwind, release your foot slowly so it doesn't slingshot back. Hands to your mat, step back, down dog. Okay, second side, left leg up, step through. Right knee down, bring your hands to your front thigh. Find that little wider stance. Support the back knee if that would feel better. And just squeeze your legs together so you get that stability to midline to start. Bring your right arm out in front. Bend your right leg, take a big circle around. Take a hold of foot or ankle, or reaching like you might one day connect hand and foot. As you draw your heel in, press your foot back into your hand. Stay lifted through your chest. And same thing, you can stay pretty upright or let the hips start to settle forward a little bit. And just notice. Keep your left hand to thigh or reach it forward. Take a couple full breaths. All right, just enjoying your pose, your practice. And slowly release your back foot, hands to your mat, step back, down dog. Okay, left leg up, inhale. Pigeon pose, left knee behind left wrist, exhale. Right, we're not going to stay super long, just a few breaths for the outer hip, but let your upper body start to fold forward, forearms, or stack your hands. Keep some support in your legs, even as you settle the weight of your body. What would it look like? What would it feel like to bring gratitude each day towards our body, towards how it moves? It doesn't mean we don't pay attention, doesn't mean we're not realistic. This means we bring that element to it as well. And walk your hands back, unwind, down dog. Switch sides, right leg up, inhale. Right knee behind right wrist, exhale. Pigeon pose. So just line up your left leg. We'll support through your legs as you fold forward. Take a few breaths. You might even notice you have this conversation more with one side of your body than the other. I know I have that. I feel like a lot of things are just the imprint of what we've done over time. And if we're grateful for all the experiences, can we be grateful for how they show up in our body? And sometimes that's the hard part, that we're not always grateful for the experiences that we don't view as initially wonderful. They might be the things that teach us over time, just like our body does that as well. It can be such a great teacher. Unwind, come back, down dog. Take a full breath in, and then exhale, bring your knees down to your mat. Okay, tuck your toes under, bring your knees together and your inner thighs together. And then start to sit your hips back to your heels. Get your little pinky toes tucked under there. And then, as always here, you can keep hands to your mat. It's going to be a little bit more support to blocks or to your thighs if that feels like a good place to be. Okay, for some of us, this brings up a lot of sensation, so find the right place. And get active through your feet as you press down into the balls of your feet. You can stay long through your spine and soft through your face. Let your breath start to slow down, even in the sensation of the pose. And see if you can give yourself just a few more breaths. And then slowly bring hands forward, untuck your toes so tops of your feet go down, and then walk your hands all the way back. Keep walking back, lean back, lift your knees. And they might just lift a hair, they might lift a little higher, just until you feel it being effective across the front of your ankles and your shins. Good. And then knees back down. Okay, grab your blanket or your towel roll. If you practice with me often, you may have done this. If you don't, it might be new one. So there's some sensation, but super effective. But make it work for you. You can have a little bit thicker roll or thinner. So just adjust to your needs. Just gonna lean forward and tuck it behind your knees. Really snuggle it in there. And then sit back. Right, so same as that toe squat, you can keep your hands down or bring your hands to your thighs, and then your calves might start talking to you. Ease in. If hands forward feels like a better place to be, do that. And then you can stay just in stillness. Think about this like this mashing of the calves, it's so good. Or take this really slow rock side to side. It feels a little bit more like a massaging of the calves. Might be a deep tissue massage, but still massaging. And then shift forward a little bit, slide the blanket down a few inches, just find one other spot. Yeah. And then same thing, just sit. Right. In there, you just get your body weight as compression for the muscle tissue, the connective tissue, or this really, well, it's not a big movement, but this little rock side to side. And create a little space within the tissue. Good. Come forward. Great one to do just on its own if calves are feeling a little tighter, right? If they're talking to you and you want to listen, try that. Okay. Come all the way down onto your back. Two choices. You can take regular Shavasana if it feels good to just lie for a few minutes. I sometimes love, after a head to toe practice, legs up the wall on my block. If you have a regular wall or something you can do that on, right, feel free to do that. Just feels like it gets attention to everything after that full body practice. So you can do block or pillows under your hips, knees in, and then stretch your legs up. Or again, regular Shavasana if that feels better. Hands by your sides or hands to your body. Close your eyes. Let the back of your head really settle back heavily. Wherever you are, to just let the attention come to your breath without having to do anything to it. Notice your response to your body here. In this little softer, quieter place. And find gratitude for the practice that our body can carry us through it. Gratitude for the way that it tells us what it needs, and if we tune in and listen. So that this practice that we often talk about, this feels really embodied. And take some fuller breaths. If you want to stay, stay. I'm just going to make your way onto your side from wherever you are. So if legs are up, bring your knees in, set your feet down. If you're on your back, you can just start to roll in that direction. Come out slowly. And then find your way all the way back up to sitting. Bring your hands together at your heart. Lift heart to hands, bow head to heart. And thank you so much for taking this time to share the practice today. Namaste.